Steve, today we're breaking down Beijing's geopolitical hammer, the rare earth chokehold. You see, while Washington is completely obsessed with its $39 trillion debt, Beijing has been playing a different game. They're focused on something you can actually hold in your hand, something physical. So on one side, you've got paper, and on the other, the actual elements that build our future. All right, let's get grounded. It's Tuesday, March 24th, 2026. The S&P is sitting at 6740, and the reason we're talking about this right now is that control over physical elements, it's just been turned into a weapon. Let's break down exactly how.
So how did we even get here? Well, it all starts with a monopoly. And listen, this isn't about mining the minerals themselves. You can find those all over the planet. No, the real chokehold, the real power, is in the refining.
90%. Let that sink in for a second. That's the share of global rare earth refining that China controls. This isn't something they just stumbled into. We're talking about a toxic, brutal process they've spent the last 30 years mastering, all while the West just sat on its hands.
So what does this 90% figure actually mean? It means you can forget about F-35 fighter jets. Forget about the high-performance magnets you need for every EV motor and wind turbine. Even that smartphone in your pocket. None of it gets made without first going through Beijing. Think of these as the essential vitamins for all modern technology.
And you know, this quote just nails it. We all used to think of China as the workshop of the world, right? Just putting things together. That's over. They've moved way beyond simple assembly. Now, they control the foundational materials. They are the foundry of the future, the place where the 21st century is being forged.
And now, we're seeing this power in action. Just this month, Beijing decided to drop the hammer. And make no mistake, this is a direct counterstrike against Western sanctions. Look at what they did. They tightened export licenses on 3 specific things: gallium, germanium, and graphite. Now, these were not chosen at random, not at all. These are the critical inputs for the very semiconductors the West is trying to protect, and for the batteries that are supposed to be powering this whole green revolution.
What you're looking at here is a very high-stakes game. It's almost a supply chain version of mutual assured destruction. The West says, no more high-end chips for you, and Beijing's response is simple and it's direct. Fine, then you don't get the minerals to build your batteries.
And this brings us right back to where we started, to this fundamental truth. One side has the paper, the other side has the elements. While we're busy printing trillions of dollars just to cover interest payments, China has been hoarding the actual physical stuff that makes the modern world run.
Okay, so let's talk about what this really means for the markets. What does it mean for your portfolio? The bottom line is we are dealing with a completely new kind of economic threat.
Because these export bans, they're going to drive up the cost of every single circuit board and every battery on the planet. And this is critical. This isn't your typical demand-driven inflation. It's a physical supply shock. It's supply-side inflation.
And that leads to a very, very serious question, one I don't think central bankers have a good answer for. What happens when their go-to playbook, hiking interest rates, just can't fix inflation? I mean, you can't print more graphite. You can't use a rate hike to lower the price of gallium. Their number one tool is basically useless against this kind of weapon.
And here's the real trap. The U.S. is facing this massive supply shock at the exact same time it's carrying a $39 trillion debt load. A debtor that big just doesn't have much room to maneuver. It severely limits the options for any kind of effective response.
So here's the takeaway. For the foreseeable future, the market's direction won't be set by what comes out of Washington. It's going to be dictated by the flow of these physical elements. My advice, forget the Fed's minutes for a while. Start watching the periodic table. That's where the real story is. This is Steve. I'll see you at the open.